Tom Garrett of Virginia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to the members and the committee for bringing forth these meaningful pieces of legislation. I'm going to isolate my comments specifically on HRES 1006 and Venezuela and take this opportunity to speak to the tragic pattern that we've demonstrated across over 100 years of the failure to learn the lessons taught to us very clearly by history. Mr. Chairman, this legislation is frustrating only insofar as I wish we could do more. A sense of Congress regarding a tragedy that's literally impacted millions is the right thing to do, and I am glad to support it and add my name to it. And yet, time and again, we've watched as individuals have been swept to power, Hugo Chavez and his successor, Nicolas Maduro, under promises to create utopian paradises by virtue of government regulation. When this government regulation occurs at the expense of free markets, when it occurs vis-a-vis the disincentivization of individual initiative, these promises of fairness manifest themselves in a uniform distribution of poverty and suffering. Whether Cambodia or Maoist China, whether the former Soviet Union or Cuba, the patterns and outcomes are all the same. And it is many times that I have implored my peers and superiors on this committee to remember the words of Arthur Vandenberg that politics should stop at the water's edge. So I will leave out American political leaders and their comments on Venezuela over the last going into 20 years. But let me say, when luminaries and thought leaders like Michael Moore and Sean Penn join hands with people like Hugo Chavez, when the leader of the British Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, suggests that Hugo Chavez and later Nicolas Maduro will work to advance the cause of people struggling across Venezuela, what we have seen throughout the course of history is literally the destruction of lives. Blessed with vast mineral resources, Venezuela not long ago was the wealthiest, most prosperous country in Central and Latin America. We now see literally millions displaced in a population wherein the average weight loss over the last 365 days is closing on 20 pounds. Maybe I should move there. Having said that and making light, it's a tragedy that need not repeat itself. Mr. Chairman, before I came to this body and after I leave it, I will consider myself a historian, and some lessons are writ large on the pages of history if we're only willing to listen. No less a thought luminary than Gandhi once stated that man cannot be made good by law. And while I seek the best for the collective, I believe to my very core that the best for the collective is achieved by empowering the individual. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, it's with some satisfaction that I lend my support to HRES 1006, but some disappointment that we seem condemned to repeat the mistakes of the past. Thank you for your time, and I'll yield back.
Thank you. We appreciate